Well, let's get the ugly news about the political violence out of the way first, because we have to talk about it. I'm just going to vomit my take on it, and then you can argue. I would just like to say, if you're one of these people, and there's many in this country who watched that and was disappointed the president wasn't... See, they're laughing at that. You're not a good person, or a smart person, but definitely not a good person. I was reading this in your paper, interview with Governor Pritzker of Illinois, and they asked him, like, well, what does the next president have to be? And he said, good, decent, and kind, which who can disagree with that? And certainly Trump has often not been good, decent, or kind.
Right, but also
he's not hit.
You can't say that you are fighting for democracy or a believer in democracy and at the same time excuse political violence as a mechanism for political change. It's one or the other. And that's the essence of our system, that it gives us the opportunity to change things through the will of the people and not through the barrel of... And people who don't get that don't understand the basis of the system they are supposedly championing.
But many people would say that you are imitating him. You, among all the people who may or may not be running, you're the one who kind of imitates his style with the trolling. You're suing Fox now, I understand. You're suing, that's
well,
right
we're going
out of
into discovery. Fox better look to settle right now or apologize for defamation.
Okay, but that sounds exactly like what he does. Suing media?
Different point. Well, then don't defame, don't lie. And, Fox is a propaganda.
But that does sound...
Yes, I believe you've seen what is currently happening in California. People fleeing the state as a result of these tax the rich, high costs, things like that. Recently, Gavin Newsom sat down with Maher. They had a conversations about a whole lot of things. And about California, Gavin Newsom is still standing there struggling to defend like everything is moving. And a lot of people are not buying into that. If you look at the whole clip, you can realize the guy was actually embarrassed, humiliated. But President Trump actually looked at this video differently. He reacted, he sent out a message going after Gavin and Maher after this segment. I'm going to show you what the president said. But before I do that, let's take a look at this.
The other side, what they're going to say, though, is, but have you seen the stats from California?
Good.
What?
Fourth largest economy, let's go.
Well, are they going to say good about gas prices? Are they going to say good about how high the rents are?
See, this is what's crazy. Rather than acknowledging reality, he pivots and tries to get people to not think about the reality of California, other than the fact that they're a large economy, which they have the largest population in the United States. They better be a large economy. Now, homeless population, they lead in total homeless people. But Jeffrey, you just said that they're a large, population. So of course that makes sense. Okay, fair. They are still more than double the national average when it comes to homeless rates. Housing affordability, dead last in the country. Cost of living, depending on what you're looking at, between the first and third worst in the entire country. In the entire country. They got the most homeless people, some of the highest homeless rates, some of the highest cost of living, some of the highest taxes. It actually the highest state income tax in the entire country. Gas prices out of control, and they incentivize people to produce less gas in their state, which is going to drive their prices up even higher. There are more Americans who are moving out of California rather than to California, and that's because the governance in that state, in my opinion, sucks. So what you'll see someone like Gavin Newsom, watch, he'll try to come out and he'll try to say things like, well, there are more people moving to California than from. Notice he said people, because they're getting immigrants coming in and they're replacing the Americans who are deciding to move to other states. So
the other side, what they're going to say, though, is, but have you seen the stats from California?
Good.
What? Well,
fourth largest economy, let's go.
Well, are they going to say good about gas prices? Are they going to say good about how high the rents are? So many people live. I mean, there's a whole litany. I mean, the train. Gavin, okay, the train. You got to get rid of the train.
The train.
I say this as a friend. You got to let that train go. You got to let the train go. It's up to $231 billion.
No, it's not. That's just nonsense. It's not. We're doing a $119 million segment. We got it back on track. It goes back 3 administrations. I inherited a mess. We put it back on track. All the environmental work is behind us. We're actually laying the track. All the legal litigation, all the land issues are all behind us. We're actually making this project work. And so that's a fact. Now, on the issue of California.
Right. Right.
Yes, recently, President Trump sent out a tweet going after Gavin Newsom and Maher. If you take a look at this, President Trump blows up on Maher, saying he was pathetic when he visited the White House. Maher is a weak and ineffective person who I got to know very well during my dinner with him at the White House. He was never scared, and the first word he uttered as he entered the Oval Office were, "Can I have a drink?" It was very endearing, but at the same time, absolutely pathetic. He was much different from what people think, but last night I happened to watch Gavin Newsom, and admittedly low IQ person who said he can't read a speech. He is doomed and essentially incompetent, and he took Maher over the course. B was defenseless and totally deficient. Either he didn't have the knowledge or he choked, because Gavin went on and on about how good California is doing, while doing very poorly, having by far the worst year it's ever had, where for the first time in history more people are leaving than coming. I don't know if you saw that clip. I'm going to show you what exactly actually happened here.
Aware that's been such a boondoggle, like everything else that Gavin Newsom and other politicians have touched, Democrat politicians in that state. But I love the way Bill Maher called him out there. And Gavin's so smug, he doesn't know how to take a question. You knew it had to be coming, right? But he doesn't know how to take a question. So every time he's asked about the failures of California, you'll notice he repeats the same thing. He says the fourth largest economy in the world. Yeah, but that's not because of your leadership. That's because California is a great state. You're doing everything you possibly can, Gavin, to kill it. You and the Democrats who run that state. So the fact that he wants to run for president, we all know. And he can't take a simple question from a friendly, by the way, from Bill Maher, and he can't answer that. Boy, Gavin, Kamala might come knocking up on your back door there. She might actually be more palatable than you are, buddy.
I think the calls to cancel him, the calls to have him fired, it just emboldens him, because that's all he's got.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have talent.
You know, the simple truth Gavin Newsom don't want to accept is the fact that he started copying everything Trump is doing. And I thought it was actually a joke until he went further to sue Fox News. The reason he did this was just as a result of, oh, Trump is doing this, let me also do this to their own people. At some point, if you look into all this, you realize Gavin Newsom, to me, is not an original person. Yeah, the kind of politics he struggled to play. If you look now in the Democrat Party, Kamala Harris is still topping these people. Just imagine, Kamala is still doing this. Gavin Newsom, obviously, is running to be the president, which at some point, it will not work out for him. Yeah, this man has a lot of things in his cupboard. Yeah, a lot of crocodiles. If you want to criticize this Gavin Newsom, there's just a lot of things you're going to say. Yeah, because he messed up. He has done a lot of wrong things that everybody sees. So him struggling to play this every single time is something I understand. I know exactly the tactics he's struggling to play here. I don't want to talk much. I'm going to end here. I want to appreciate people sharing our supporting. And please keep the videos. As of the short clips at the end, that is for a white algorithm. You can always skip.
Let me just tell you what happened.
Means by voting yes, you have a chance to do something important. President, who are joining together to end gerrymandering and ensure, yes, you can push back reasonable, transparent,
We should get to the bottom of that.
Believe that he targets journalists and believe that he is unable to laugh at him.
Inside, they started.
It'll be
more access to the leader of the free world.
This week, which was the state of Virginia, they gerrymandered the state. And I have to sound like a 5-year-old, but Trump started it.
The win in yesterday's redistricting. It's going to lose their congressional representation. How do you think?
Minutes until the First Lady brought them back with her surprise statement last week.
How does this benefit?
I'm an actor.
Creative content.
Why are you not looking forward to the White House fight?
Well, it's kind of a gimmick. I have 300.
Well, I said democratic socialist.
I know, but is this going to be a country that
Out of control, and they incentivize people to produce less gas in their state, which is going to drive their prices up even higher. there are more Americans who are moving out of California rather than to California. And